Hey, what up, America? What up, world? Welcome to a Better Black America podcast, the number one podcast stateside and worldwide. Now, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, addressed Congress today. Now, today is Wednesday, March 16th, 2022. Now, while addressing the United States Congress, the President Zelensky of Ukraine, he said, and I quote, "I have a dream." Stop right there. He said it in the United States Congress. And while I was watching the address, it looked like Zelensky is starting to appear to be a pawn for the global stage and this new world order. In that "I have a dream" speech that he addressed the United States Congress, which was a standing ovation when he finished, he still did not get, or he's not going to get, what he's asking for. But there is some interesting parallels when it comes to Zelensky, because last week Zelensky actually, when he spoke to the EU, the European Union, he quoted Winston Churchill. And Winston Churchill was the prime minister during World War II. Now, it's clear that the one rule, new world order is in full motion, because during the President Zelensky address to the United States Congress, he asked Joe Biden to not only be the leader of the United States, but be the leader of the world. Now, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities, and evildoers in high places. Now, these evildoers in high places are clearly unseen. And even if we see them, we don't know if they are making the decisions. And it clearly looks like they're making the decision. And it's been a long game, because Vladimir Putin's reaction to President Biden's sanctions and taxations and stopping his distribution of oil and gas and energy to try to, get his financial backing to plummet. And he actually moved to gold because the ruble is trading low. He spoke to China, and then China is working deals with Russia, and the Iranians are brokering deals to use Chinese currency. I'm not sure what currency that they use, but they're looking to not use American currency. So now that the ruble is falling, and if this happens, the American dollar is going to fall, because they want the entire world to collapse. Look at the big picture. You think this just started? No, World War II. Look at all the positioning and all of the moves that's being made worldwide. Now, Russia is pressing the line on Ukraine. Zelensky went on record yesterday and said that Ukraine probably will never be a NATO partner or friend, because Russia do not want the enemy sharing a border. And all the resources that President Zelensky is asking for is kind of like a money funneling project. It's kind of like money laundering, because we know without a shadow of a doubt that Ukraine is not going to win. But this is a grand distraction to get all the resources in a certain position in a certain place of the world. Now, we're no fools. If we look at political science, which is a science which is ongoing, we got enough data to see that it's advantageous for a third world war for supremacy. And this is what this is all about. You got Zelensky, who is a white man, Vladimir Putin, who is a white man, and then you have all of these white Americans fighting and standing for Ukraine. And then you have Russian Americans, and you have Russian oligarchs, you have white Russians. And this is why they will not get the Iron Shield, meaning they will not stop the air, They will not shoot down any Russian pilots or engage in any type of hand-to-hand combat against the Russians, because that is a direct connection between Americans and Russian. So that would actually spark. And Vladimir Putin knows this. This is why they had to wait until the Democratic Party got in office to run the play, because the Democratic Party is not an American institution. It's a global institution, and they do it under the Democratic shield and say our democracy. America is not a democracy. It is a republic, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. It's a God-fearing nation. It's not a democracy. This is why America First gets rejected by American people, because of their liberalism. And the worst humans, or the worst type of people on earth, and more importantly, detrimental to the black race, is white liberals. Dr. King said it after he realized he delivered his people into a burning house. This is why President Zelensky is basically being used as a pawn to incite a world war, because he's doing these press conferences. Yes, we see the images, and this is a war of images. We see the images. We see this, but somehow you are comfortable where you are, not concerned about shells or bombs or missiles or anything, because you are pretty much having talks of peace. And when you can actually extract the most funds that you can extract, when you have the resources that you have, then you'll walk away from a situation, and then you'll build back better. See, this is what the build back better is. Build back better is a play on regime change and nation build. So build back better is code word for regime change and nation build. That's what wars do. That's what our militaries do. Why would we send billions of dollars to Ukraine when we have a Russian country right next to it who's actually invaded the country, and we are funding them through the purchases of energy, gas, oil, to name a few? So now we really got to understand like what is really going on, because we are using this little country that's not even a NATO partner to start a world war, because the people in high places that we don't see an opportunity, because America, when the Democratic Party is in office, this is when you can actually make the moves. Now, President Trump, who was president before, these things did not happen and did not occur because of America First. When you say America First, you're basically saying that you're taking care of home first. And there was a song called Take Care of Home. And we need to take care of home. And before we can actually entertain anything that's going on outside of this nation, we need to consider what's going on here first. Because how is it that we are so motivated and energized to basically defend and have care and concerns about human rights issues that's going on in a country that's in war times? How can we be concerned about that when we are still living in conditions that are subhuman, living in conditions that are not truly American, living in conditions that is typically, when it comes to slavery, is a mental thing of enslavement, because we are truly not free. And when I say we're truly not free, it's because we cannot make decisions and we cannot talk or do whatever we want to do freely. We will get sanctioned. We will get censored. We will get a whole lot of things thrown at us because we're not free. And this is why there has to be a separation, because the one party system is an issue. The Republicans say that. Then there's a two-party system because of the two parties that we only have when it comes to the mainstream. There has never been a independent or anybody outside of the Republicans and Democrats in modern history. Now, there have been Federalists and things like that in the past, but right now in modern history, it's only been Republican or Democrat. And before that, it was Democratic Republic. And before and after that, the Republic defeated the Democrats, with the assistance of the newly freed slaves. This is why America says to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. Chess, not checkers. Chess move after the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Chess move. 2 moves. Kill Abraham Lincoln. Add a criminalization clause. Andrew Johnson put a criminalization clause in the Constitution. That means we're still slaves on the federal level, meaning we're not free. And if you're not free, you live in fear. If you are not free, you live in fear. Now, today is a day of, it's an emotional day for me, because this is the day that we move forward, because we finally understand that we cannot work with anything outside of our governing body. So we have to own our generation. When I say generation, that generation X, that X is an unknown factor in mathematical terms, and they really don't know who we are and what we are, and they don't know what assignment we have from God. Because if you talk to a baby boomer, and I talk to baby boomers, and I'm not making this up, talk to an older person who is still trying to reach goals and still trying to accomplish things that they was not able to accomplish over the 65 plus years that they've been here. And I'm talking about 65 and over, because the science of Willie Lynch is not just about the slave. They pitted us against each other. They pitted the little ones versus the big ones. That's why little dudes have issues with big dudes. Big dudes don't have issues with little dudes. It's always the little dude with the chip on his shoulders of insecurity. The big dude have no issue with that. They pitted us against each other. They pitted light skin versus dark skin. They did that because you have people saying, you know, oh, that light skinned girl with that good hair. What you mean what good hair is? They pit us against each other, because if you take a red bone and put her with a gang of black, ugly or non-attractive females, the red bone, light skin, one that was considered pretty with the good hair is going to be the one that's going to be getting her butt kicked all the time. This is why birds of a feather flock together. See, ugly people hate beautiful people. Smart people have no issue with dumb people because they're not a threat. But smart people do have an issue with people trying to be smarter than them. And then they'll say things, oh, all you got on me is age. No, we're younger. We are smarter because we have more information. And there's a difference between being talented and being untalented, because typically most untalented people have resources and people with talent don't have the resources. So the ones with the talent have terrible times trying to catch a break, and the ones with the resources is holding what they have in their possession for them. And believe me, it will never get off the ground, because you need other entities to use and manipulate for it to work. So you're no different than a oppressor, even if you are black with resources with no talent. Now, the difference between talent and resources today is that the talented people have the resources that everybody have, because we have the power of social media, the power of the information superhighways, the internet, the power to learn editing, the power to learn everything that a smart person knows. Now, you take the talented person, you give them the equal knowledge, and it's clear that there will be a separation from the two. And the reason I'm saying this, I'm using my personal life as an example, and I'm using our generation as a metaphor, because we're going to have to supersede the past generation. Because for one strange reason, they think that they're the greatest generation. But this is the generation that actually somehow conditioned our mind and told us, and we'll never do this again. No. No. And this is a generational thing. And this is fear. Fear 101. And they told us, no. Vote for the lesser of the two evils. Stop right there. Evil is evil. Voting for the lesser of the two. Only a person that is scared will tell you to do something like that. Because if you are a true man of God, you don't embrace or show any any resemblance of fear.